Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summer presentation of the StarLadder I-League 13 European match between HellRaisers and 4 Clovers and a Leprechaun. Here we are going into Game 2 of the Best of 3 series, and we are looking at a 1-0 advantage for 4C&L after a great Tiny Wisp game, pretty much nullifying the effectiveness of the Alchemist pick whatsoever. So, you can hear the draft, let's get into it. I'm Blaze, and yeah, I'm already excited for this match. We're actually going to be seeing Tusk Bounty Hunter in Phase 1. Pycat drafting that up for themselves. Right now, HellRaisers open with Shadow Fiend, and they're like, well, what punishes Shadow Fiend? People who just jump on his face. And Bounty Hunter roaming in, if there's no Sentry Ward in play, can find opportunities to kill off the Shadow Fiend in mid. At the Tusk, obviously, snowballing in, that's pretty common. So we're going to have to see a very proactive and reactive response from HellRaisers to just make sure this doesn't shut down the SF. We're going to, obviously what happened to the Alchemist cannot happen this game, or HellRaisers are going to be just completely out of it with a 2-0. So I like the fact that they banned out the Queen of Pain and the Wisp, and they're drafting around 4C&L a little bit, but in the end I still think 4C&L have the better heroes to be aggressive with. The Slaughter pick was still pretty good. All around this hero was great. Slaughter in the offlane is one of the better and heroes that synergizes with the current metagame, and just in general has some good natural strengths. Bane, however, is going to be the response to that, as Bane is probably one of the tankier supports that you can get still with good range disables. Rubik going to be picked up by HellRaisers, so excited to see what they can accomplish with that, but in turn we're just going to see Windranger pick up. So it looks like mid Windranger versus the Shadow Fiend, Tusk and Bounty Hunter in the off lane, but roaming as much as they feel is appropriate. So it should be pretty interesting. I think this time it is going to be the off lane Tusk, the Bounty Hunter supporting him, rather than the other way around. Nikwa ran the Lina last time with the help of a Tusk, but I think it's going to be the Tusk getting some help from the Gondar, since Gondar really gets farmed so naturally that he doesn't need it himself. Now, I did do a little bit of research for you guys here for this stand-in. It's live. Oh, and I feel like I walked away with more questions than answer. So I looked it up. It seems to be like a Smurf account or a secret account with only like 10 competitive matches. A lot of those are standing in for Na'Vi, but some of the games are with this player and Havost on the same team. So I can't just say it's Havost because he can't be in two places at once. He can't be on two computers at the same time. So I feel like it might be Havost, but other people have used that account. I don't know. It's stood in for Na'Vi a lot. Empire once, HellRaisers once. Or actually, no, that was the most recent match, sorry. But, yeah, I mean, this is all over like 8 months ago, so I think it's Havost's old Smurf account, but nobody would give me a straight answer in the lobby, so I just have to keep calling him It's Live-O to remain accurate. I don't know, I'll just say Havost. That was some foreplays we got to see in game number 1. Anyways, let's go into the fourth pick here for HellRaisers. Dazzle and Wyvern off the table. They go with the Night Stalker. They're going to try to actually get involved here. Now, the cool thing about, obviously, Rubik Night Stalker is if you get the dust on Bounty Hunter, you should be able to kill him. Like Telekinesis Void, you easily pull him out of position, and you can isolate him for the kill. But if Ice Shards are really, really on point, then he still might live. So, it really just comes down to that, I guess. And the bans come through for number 5. We're going to be seeing a safe laner ban for 4C&L, probably a physical damage dealer. Razor, I think, is the go-to ban here. It just makes the most sense, but you can still ban out like a Bristleback or... Oh, they ban out the Undying. Very interesting. I don't think Undying would have been an issue here, personally, but it's something they just didn't want to have to deal with. And, in the meantime, HellRaisers is going to be banning out a 4C&L safe lane core, most likely, and one that can be easily supported by a Bane solo. So, Bane +1 versus a Slardar, and we'll see what they can bring against him. Obviously, you want to take a little bit of advantage out of that Nightmare, so could do a lot of different things. Really, you're going to be able to get a lot done in this game. You have a lot of space being made by the Bounty Hunter. You're going to get a lot of track gold. You already have a good mix of damage, disable, and durability, the 3Ds. So I would feel like 4C&L are confident no matter what they want to pick up for Pycat here.
10 seconds remaining.
And Gyrocopter is going to be the last ban. Would have been a pretty good pickup for 4C&L. But they go with the Slark. So there are a ton of late game carries that work in this situation. Slark is probably one of the better ones to deal with the disables they're currently dealing with. And Slardar really can't do much in terms of sprinting away from him. So it all works out pretty well here. Abaddon going to be the last pick up here. I do like the value in this pick in terms of keeping heroes alive, but I will say for the first 5 levels, which are probably the most important for the bounty hunter, HellRaisers aren't really going to be able to counter at the hero at all. Like, Abaddon, he is very vulnerable until he gets his level 6, till he gets the borrow time. And I feel like the bounty hunter is going to stay on top of things and is going to be able to really run over the laning phase. I mean, look at the current board configuration. We've got 2 sentries on Gotham and a lot of mangoes. But when it comes down to it, I feel like EGM is going to have free reign over the map. He's got his Orb of Venom, some wards pooled to him, and then the Tango start. And this guy is going to be able to be everywhere. He's going to be putting pressure on the Abaddon. He's going to be putting pressure on the Shadow Fiend. It's just not going to be a good time. But we'll have to see. I mean, still, HellRaisers have a lot of potential if they can break into the mid-game strong. They have a great hero to keep their allies alive, and then, of course, they get all the damage they need from the Slardar and the Shadow Fiend. Interesting board from EGM. He's not going to block the pull camp.
30 seconds to battle.
And as far as spawn boxes go, that's right on the line for the Western spawn, but I think he left it unlocked. So this ward, essentially, its value is in the fact that it's not blocking things. Based on the fact that it's not blocking either camp, it's not going to be dewarded. There's no reason to put a sentry there when camps are spawning. So he gets good intel, keeps his movement active, and keeps doing his thing. It allows him to leave the Tusk solo when the time is appropriate.
The battle begins.
Ninja here, just going to be looking for that bounty rune. Should be no problem at all to claim it, while the Wind Ranger gets the one up top. Healing Salve up for the solo mids. So I've got Pycat here on the Slark in the safe lane, starting off with a sentry ward of his own, just in case the pull is unlocked or you want to take care of a lane ward. A lot of good stuff there. Anywho, we've got Neekwa here on the mid lane, and that is going to leave him to 1v1 on Ninja, but EGM's already coming in for the first hits here. The Orb of Venom right clicks, already taking just a few free pot shots here against the Shadow Fiend. Down bottom, though, Pycat gonna get crushed. Might need to pounce out of this one, as he's just taking a little bit too much damage. But he's just gonna tango it up and go right back on the lane. And the Sentry Ward is unfortunately gonna be out of range here for Yapstar's early Obs Ward. Still, Pycat gonna be bullied hard. Where 4C&L are probably gonna be winning the top lane and the mid lane, they're gonna be absolutely destroyed down bottom until the Bounty Hunter makes his rotations. So right now, you've got Pycat just trying to secure farm. He doesn't want to fight, and frankly, the Bane doesn't really either. But in the meantime, in the mid lane is actually going to be the kill here. I was looking at this Rubik, and I was saying, okay, Rubik is here. He's supporting the Shadow Fiend, so there's no way that EGM goes for aggression. But that's exactly what EGM does. He gets first blooded by the Shadow Fiend, and suddenly, Shadow Fiend has 15 Necromastery stacks. So he's got souls out the wazoo. Double stun coming in from Shoshlo. Even with the Brain Sap, he's going to get hit by that shield. But now Yajitsu doesn't have much left in the tank to keep Shoshlo alive. One more crush, keeping his distance here. And it's actually going to be 2 heroes walking away with critical HP. But Bane won't be one of them, as he does get the quick miscoil to kill off the Bane. And then, subsequently, the Bounty Hunter as EGM tries to punish that low HP Abaddon. So Shoshlo really bringing his A game here with the stuns. These crushes are just immaculate, and they are allowing him to control this offlane in an amazing way. They get 2 kills for none. They will have to kind of heal back up. With the regen rune for the Slardar, it's only going to be the Abaddon that has to go back to base. So yeah, what most likely happened with EGM here is Sentry Ward Wars. Essentially, he has a Sentry Ward, and Gotham had one as well. He wasn't ready to place his down to counter out the one the Rubik placed. He didn't see it, he didn't know about it. He gets lifted back and double raised. Even at a level 1 raise, it's still enough damage to put Bounty Hunter at very low HP, since most of his effective HP is actually through armor. So EGM feeds first blood, Shadow Fiend gets It's now maxed out Necromastery, and is just at least matching the Wind Ranger in the mid lane. But we're going to see the snowball go through Night Stalker. Doesn't get an Abaddon TP, so it looks like he'll be going down. Abaddon, where's your TP, man? That's like, he had like 10 minutes to get to that lane. Okay, exaggerating, 10 seconds, but there is a lot of importance being put on rotating lanes with the Abaddon early. If you get a TP scroll out, you can definitely save a life, and that could have been the Night Stalkers. But it looks like he's committed to the bottom lane. He really wants them to have a good time here on the Slardar, because that in turn really makes things harder for the Slark. So this ward already been placed, but this one relatively fresh, going to be blocking this spawn, and of course going to be getting some great intel towards that bottom rune area. A lot of potential action across the map. Like, every single lane seems to have the potential to bring the next kill, but right now it's going to be Nightstalker that has the best opportunity here, getting some free hits, has a mango, but doesn't want to dive with it. Pop the mango, hit a void. It looks like it probably would be a Tusk escaping with one hit from death. Now they're taking care of the Sentry ward. They will be going here on Shadow Fiend, but he's playing very far back. In the meantime, Pycat, he was pressured pretty heavily, but he's going to be going down to the tower, actually, as he goes pretty much all around the world. Goes into enemy territory just to try to keep things covered. So essentially, they jumped in there, the Rubik snuck his way in, got the telekinesis, they got the crush, and Pycat eventually goes down as the Pounce takes him far away from where he wants to be. Bambo dueling it out with its live O up top here, but I think Nightstalker's got this one. He's going to be able to avoid in just a second here, and Bambo, oh, the fog of war! The Nightstalker not really getting the value out of the shadows, but he will get the last hit before Bambo hits him with his Walrus Punch. I mean that figuratively. Alright, so we have really just, I mean, this Observer Ward
Dire's top tower
up top, not really helping out too much since it's a 1v1 lane up here. The Observer Wards from HellRaisers probably going to be doing a lot. I mean, you've got lots of intel towards the high ground of the Radiant side. You've got the bottom rune covered up, and you've got a 4-kill lead. I feel like they have a lot of tools at their disposal to keep this lead ahead. Now, Brainsap is still available for Yapzor, so he's not in trouble just yet, but it very well could be. The shield's on cooldown. Bambo looking for the Ice Shard block, but Chachlo just goes in man mode for the 2-man crush, and he'll get 1 man, but immediately killed off by the Brainsap nuke. Yeah, just not doing enough to keep him alive here, and obviously the Slaughter going very aggressive. Abaddon now in a vulnerable position. Ice Shards cooling down. These Ice Shards are going to be insane, blocking out Abaddon far from home. And we'll look up top as Abaddon falls, but Pycat in some trouble too. It's Live-O looking for 2 more hits. He will get the magic stick off. Pycat still body blocked by EGM, will be going down. Bound down bottom again. We're going to actually see the kill happen here. First onto the Rubik, then to the Bane. Just trading supports back and forth here as the Brawlers are really going ham. But up top, EGM actually gets killed off as well. I think he popped out of Invis with his last hit there. Yeah, EGM invised over here when he was body blocking the Tusk, and he was body blocking Pycat on the Slark, and essentially once he broke out of invis, trying to get the Orb of Venom slows, he was very vulnerable with no way of escape. Even though the Nightstalker didn't have detection, he found himself another kill. And speaking of another kill, we see the snowball play down bottom, and we see the kill score at 5-8. Bambo still making some plays happen, but the overall KDA is 3-1-2 on him, and still 3-1-0 on the Nightstalker, who's going to get big very quickly. Yeah, Jitsu looks pretty much dead, no matter what you do here. And that's going to be giving 4C&L a little bit more momentum back the other way. They don't have track yet, so it's not like outstanding momentum, but it's making up for the lives they lost earlier. I mean, you got to remember the kill score was 1-3 earlier. So 6-8 is really closing the gap. Even if it's just a 2-kill lead, it's still like you're getting a lot of gold momentum for your team as a whole. The problem is that gold is not going into Pycat's pocket. He has been involved in 1 kill and 1 assist. He's been killed twice, and he hasn't been farming. So you see the comparative net worth of like the safe laners, which is the Nightstalker, and the Slark being completely different. Satchel has his Tranquils, his Orb of Venom, but it's going to be pretty far away from the Blink Dagger for a little while. Abaddon, he just needs to get level 6. He just needs to get any bit of experience he can. For now, though, he will sit behind the Nightstalker. And we'll see what Balinar can do here on the bottom lane.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Looking over at the competitive CS of the Shadow Fiend and the Wind Ranger, it's really no surprise to see the advantage for the Shadow Fiend. He's been clearing out stacks in his own jungle, so he's up to 55. But of course, those earlier souls allowed him to trade evenly with Wind Ranger before the raises even came into play. But of course, once you get like closer to the max raise, you're doing a lot. Abaddon gonna be trying to come in here to help out the Night Stalker. Can he get the heals out? Finally, the Mistcoil comes. Now the shield, but it's not gonna be enough to keep the Night Stalker alive. EGM zoning out Yejitsu long enough that they're actually just gonna be able to kill off the Night Stalker before enough reinforcement arrives. And now they're looking for 2 more. Kill off the Abaddon, very nicely done. But not sure about this jump onto Shotch though here. It looks like he'll be fine. Affidinge with the flank and the DD rune. But the Sentry Ward is not close enough as EGM stays to the west. And now they're going to try to go in 3v1. This is very dangerous. Affidinge does so much damage, and they're just trying to kill him but can't do anything. They actually lose 3 heroes here. 2 to the Shadow Fiend, 1 to the Slardar. Oh man, they really just bit off more they could chew in that one. That was a really ill-advised engagement. They just didn't have the control against the Shadow Fiend. They had like mini stuns from shurikens and shackles. They just didn't have what they needed. But this is pretty surprising. Now, we know that the Radiant don't have any vision here, so this might just work. But we are looking at just the amp damage speed expediting this Roshan, and there is definitely a lot of risk involved in a play like this. But it seems to be working out for them, even without a single point in presence of the Dark Lord. Roshan dropping here before the 10-minute mark. Man, this is a really hard game to follow, guys. Sorry if I'm still not waking up enough here in the morning for me, but I feel like I've got most of it, but there's just been so much all across the map. It's really difficult as a solo cast. Mechanism going to be coming out for Alpha Ninja here. This is a very Death Ball type item build. You don't really have much healing outside the Abaddon, so it's important to keep your team sustained in this capacity. Looks like Alpha Ninja is vulnerable here. No, Night Stalker's not anywhere close enough to helping him out. They will lose the Aegis first and foremost, and we don't see Abaddon in a position to TP. So Alpha Ninja just going to pop out the Requiem, but it's just going to be enough to kill off Yapzor post a Fiend's Grip. Nice damage there to bring him down quickly and make sure that Alpha Ninja isn't locked down for the duration. Nikwa missing the power shot. I really don't think this is a fight they want to take now. They've lost the Bane and they don't have the wherewithal to deal with this Shadow Fiend. So they'll slow down the siege, but unless they're willing to rotate the Slark, who is very bad at fighting at this stage, it's not an engagement they need to take. Especially now that Abaddon's ready to fight. Slardar still working his way to his uplink dagger, a lot closer than when we last checked him out, but let's check out the net worth as we are past the 10-minute mark now. So net worth currently favoring that of HellRaisers by about 1,700 and about 1,500 in terms of experience, but look at the net worth density. Looking at who actually has the cash. The HellRaiser supports have nothing here. They're less than the Bounty Hunter, who hasn't even picked up track yet. The Abaddon and the Rubik are really just playing the ghetto builds and losing out a lot. But we'll have to talk about this fight before we talk about the economy. Wind Ranger gets the last hit on the Tier 1 tower, and HellRaisers have rotated everything, and it looks like maybe they'll get just 1 kill. Night Stalker will keep diving, as Night Stalker does at night. And Bamboo Ice Shard's going to be throwing him through a loop for a second, but in the end I think the Tusk will fall. He'll put a lot of damage into the Night Stalker, but he'll be mech'd up. And now they look for maybe the Tier 1 tower. They did pop Darkness for this, but of course this is about to be 12 minutes. So not the end of the world. And Pycat just going to keep trying to farm. It looks like he wants to go for the Hand of Midas here. So, talking about the economy. Right now, we've got an advantage for HellRaisers going to be increased by the Tier 1 tower going down bottom. Slardar pretty much has all the gold he needs, as he's very shortly going to be picking up this Blink Dagger. But the supports for HellRaisers are actually pretty poor. All this net worth is going into the Shadow Fiend. He's gotten 3 kills, 2 assists, and 72 last hits. Rubik will make up for that a little bit by last hitting the Tier 1 tower. Not sure if that was intentional. I presume it was. But they are spreading the wealth a little bit now. Pycat pops the Shadow Dance to get the Tier 1 tower kill. But Yapzor is kind of left very far behind. And Night Stalker will clean him up here. Looks like a Brain Sap versus Crippling Fear. Crippling Fear wins out. So I feel like the game for 4C&L is just to buy time for Slark now. Pycat is definitely going Midas here. He's looking for just any way to survive and just continue to farm, continue to build up his net worth. He got the tower bottom. He looks like he might get the tower top. This is actually a great way to come back in the game, just to last hit 2 towers in a row. Now, along with a Midas transmute, you're going to be right back up there and looking for your next major item. But in the meantime, they're losing space across the map. HellRaisers taking the tier 1 bottom, no trouble at all. And, yeah, obviously that early Roche helping them out quite a bit as well. I think vision is going to be a very key aspect of this game. The Slark has a great passive in terms of dealing with vision, knowing whether or not he's being seen on the map because of the Shadow Dance. It's very important to dewarding and just getting map control. Oh, EGM looking to just TP cancel. Got him, or FNJ, or maybe both. They expect him to TP back to help out this tier 2 tower, and EGM wants to make sure that that doesn't happen. He can track one, shuriken them. Oh no, he doesn't have track. Okay, he can just shuriken one, and it's gonna be got him. Sorry, dude. No, he wants to just keep FNJ down. Interesting. He's making a conscious decision not to cancel that TP, so he can cancel FNJs and they can fight top. They think they can bring the Shadow Fiend up top, but EGM's here. He's going to prevent it. No, EGM might just be killed off. The Raze misses, and it is going to be the TP cancel. No, they're going to actually go on him with Pycat here. FNJ, pop of the Requiem. There's the Shuriken toss. Now the track is online, but can they actually finish him off just in time? It looks like Pycat will get it with the help of Nikwa coming in up top. Speaking of up top, the tower that we were looking at, I was just looking at the minimap, maybe you guys didn't see that, but they were pushing this top tier 2, putting a lot of pressure out on it, and essentially it looked like they actually wanted to engage 4 versus 4 up top, 4C&L that is. But in the end, the Rubik TPs, the Shadow Fiend commits to just forcing the tower, and EGM finds that opportunity to just isolate the Shadow Fiend instead, which is probably the better decision. Killing the Shadow Fiend here gets you just that much more, especially with a track kill at that point. So it's a really important kill. They do get it, and they don't even lose the Bounty Hunter for it. But in the meantime, that does mean the tower is denied by Abaddon just a little bit later. Interesting build here. A Photic Shield max from the Abaddon, with a Soul Ring, no less.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Huh. I really don't think it scales that well. Like, I usually get 2 points in a Photic Shield because the cooldown reduction from 12 to 10 is actually a big difference. But dropping it down from 10 to 6, unless you're up against like a hard disable lineup, it seems like overkill, honestly. Like, I feel like you only need to use a shield like every 8 or so seconds. So maxing it out here, first and foremost. It does more AoE damage, but I think Mistcoil just scales better. I mean, you go from 100 damage and heal to 250. And, of course, that's always on that 4.5 second cooldown. This heals you when you use your borrowed time. And in general, it's really good. The Soul Ring's solid because you can use borrowed time and then pop the Soul Ring and heal during that. Your health pool doesn't really matter too much because you're not going to be, you know, taking a figure of death for 400 plus damage. But the Aphotic Shield Max is still a very interesting style. I guess it's like, essentially what you can do with that is you can put the Aphotic Shield out early on like the Shadow Fiend while he's in Death Ball mode, while he's sieging the tower. Scare 4C&L so they don't want to engage on that, and then have another one available for if they do actually commit. If they do commit to the Shadow Fiend, break the first shield, you've got a second one ready and waiting. The other thing that's nice is you can dispel track very conveniently, just not much time required. I'm not sure about his rotation here though. I guess with the borrowed time he should be fine, but obviously you got the Bane lurking, and he can just Nightmare during the borrowed time and wait it out. Mid lane's going to be the action though. Sexy Man Bow, double damage rune or not, it looks like he's going down. Shot low with the Blink Dagger, and Nightstalker of course with the follow through. And they'll just smoke up immediately after the fact. Radiant Observer Ward, darkened, doesn't see anything, and that is going to be probably a kill on the Wind Ranger here. She's going to be farming here in the jungle, very close to her Aghanim Scepter, only 180 gold away, but if she walks into this and loses out on that, that's going to be a very sad day for her. Shotslow's got the Blink engage, but they seem to be spreading out a little bit here, and that seems ill-advised. Shotslaw cannot solo kill this Wind Ranger, and he's going to go right on the wave. Yeah, blinking back immediately. EGM now going to be scouting things out, getting full intel, and there's no detection against him. Rubik? Nope, nothing. EGM just gets to watch and absorb all the intel they need so they can just make the right play. Yapzor going for the Corey snipe, but not going to find it, and he probably revealed the fact that he was sitting here, therefore warding in that position. So, you've got a Manta build for Afo Ninja, another way to break through the... break away from the track. It's potentially can dodge shackle shots if you time it perfectly. And in general, it's just good for split pushing. SMY is still really good too, though. I think you might still just go SMY. Manta's not bad, but SMY just feels better. You just move so quick. And as I said, the fact that the Bane tried to fight Courier here does cost him the Observer Ward. There's absolutely no reason for a support to be in this box unless he's warding, really. Especially not at that point. Ooh, wow, it's Live-O farming up nicely. We already saw that he had a good laning stage. He already got a couple kills in the laning phase very easily handed to him. And now he's actually rapidly approaching the Aghanim Scepter. He's only died twice, despite being tower diving a lot of this game. And the end result is him 700 gold away from that Ag Scepter. Beautiful. That is actually going to be a huge thing. Because I kind of had half a thought here. Vision is really good for 4C&L now because of Slark's ability to deward, thanks to Shadow Dance. But it's actually going to be HellRaiser favored significantly as the game progresses. Night Stalker, only 1 point in darkness right now, which is a little odd. But maybe he just feels that crippling fear point. Well, that extra 1 second might be make or break. Either way, once he gets the Ags, once he gets his level 2 darkness, you're going to be seeing a lot of map control favoring HellRaisers. And you could get a gem at True Sight after that to just make it impossible for 4C&L to really get any understanding of what's going on the map. Now this Roshan's engagement is coming out. 4C&L did get some intel with the Ice Shards. Sigil... oh, just another Ice Shard's coming through. The Sigil's actually on cooldown, and Spellsteal's actually coming from the Shadow Walk, which doesn't really matter too much. So it's just going to be, it looks like the Roshan snatched! Oh! Wow, well played to the Wind Ranger. Nikwa, power shot, actually kills off Roshan. That's a rarity, since the magical damage reduction of Roshan is so high. But they get the Roshan kill. Unfortunately, it looks like they'll lose their lives in the process. The Aegis still goes to Afo Ninja. Dust comes out on EGM, and that should be 2 kills. Against... oh, track stolen! Oh no, EGM! What have you done? That is a huge mistake from EGM. He's been playing a great series so far, but that is actually like a game-losing Spellsteal. Gotham right now has track, and they could just build so much momentum off that. They got Abaddon, who you can't kill, Shadowfiend, who has the second life, Night Stalker, who is tanky as all get out, and Gotham just got track. Like, if they just put down 1 Sentry Ward here, they just can siege and kill and siege and kill and get so much gold profit out of it. Looks like they'll just go for the Obs Ward in the base here. I'm looking for it. Tracking illusions. Fishing for a shackle shot while Slark pushes out mid. Haven't talked about Slark a lot recently, combatively. He has farmed up a Shadow Blade. He looks to get involved soon, but EGM gonna get caught out. And that's a, I believe, a track kill, I'm not sure. Maybe just a dust kill, they didn't get the track out in time. Either way, a nice little pick off there. Slark is actually having to force the base right now. Just trying to do whatever he can to force the TP back, but the HellRaisers are like, you can't kill our tier 3 faster than we can kill your racks. So we're just going to keep doing our thing, and you can go ahead and do yours. And they're going to go ahead and take this base. So Slark has to TP back home, and he's going to try to go for the kind of Hail Mary defense. They've got 5, but there's going to be the jump on Bambo. He goes down quick, and at this point it's almost impossible for them to hold the bottom lane. They'll try for the miracle engagement. The shackle doesn't connect. They would need it to be on the Shadow Fiend and the Abaddon, and that just doesn't work out. Shot slow, looking to pounce, ready to jump. He goes on Pycat, and he's going to be forcing Shadow Dance. Doesn't even get it off. Oh, he's silver edging away, or it's just not going to be enough. He goes down. He can't even get his ultimate off thanks to that crippling fear. Level 2, now level 3.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
And that'll be the melee Rex going down, Shotzo jumping in, EGM getting nuked down, and all this is track gold going the way of HellRaisers. I'm gonna be just amazed at the net worth graph once we see them leave the base here. They didn't get Roshan, so they didn't get that gold, but they get the entire bottom lane. They get 3 or 4 track kills back to back. You see Rubik just happily spamming that out. And God, just fed so much gold. Look at that! Oh, that's disgusting. Suddenly Rubik has track and the money is flowing. He just pulled the slot machine and coins spilled out. Experience helping out too. Obviously they won the fight, but I just don't know what 4C&L can really do to bring this back now. They're so far behind. A bottom lane gone. So they're going to get less farm out of this. They're going to be continuously pressured in that capacity. And HellRaisers just got a massive influx of gold. Shadow Fiend, 4,600! 4,600 current gold on Ninja. And he's going to the secret shop, probably for the Scotty. If he can take through everything, that's just amazing. But we're actually going to see a huge engagement here with Ninja getting the Requiem off. All the AoE damage you can ask for. And Pycat, he just can't do enough. In the Shadow Dance, in the Snowball, but finally going down. Snowball stolen, and 4C&L wiped off the face of the earth. The Tusk slips away. The Wind Ranger not involved at all, and it just doesn't matter in the end. Even without the Scotty, the Shadow Fiend take through it all doesn't lose the Aegis. Like, honestly, the best case scenario for 4C&L there was actually them killing the Shadow Fiend, but he just still has the Aegis, so it's just breaking the Aegis, which would have broken anyways. Might actually just be GG. HellRaisers playing just an amazing game of Dota 2. Really coming together in the mid game. I felt like 4C&L had better chances in the laning phase if the Bounty Hunter moved correctly, but instead of moving correctly, EGM gave first blood to Ninja, giving him max souls, and then they just dual laned the Slardar Abaddon, which is a very hard lane for a hard carry to contest. So Slark, being a bit of a greedier pick, just couldn't do it the same way maybe a Juggernaut could. So, good pressure from HellRaisers, going in with the Yajitsu Shachlo dual off lane, and got him really responding so well, just outplaying EGM here on the Bounty Hunter. Nice double shackle, gonna be a shield onto one, but it's actually the Snowball coming back through from Gotham that bails him out. So, Ninja, where's that Aegis timer? Let's check it out here. It is gonna be expiring here in 5 seconds, so does have to make sure he keeps his regen rune up. And I'm curious if they re-engage with his full health. I mean, it's a lot of health. Even when on Agitreads, he's sitting here 2260 HP. But he'll go back for the double damage rune. Do they have a bottle for it? Oh, they have the gem. No, he won't bottle a rune. He'll just pick it up. So 30 seconds on the clock. They want to try to get involved. Smoke? Anything? No. So Ninja is just going to be large in charge, farming up the mid lane, and this is going to force 4C&L into a corner. They have to decide what they want to do with their next move. They've got a smoke. They've de-warded to make sure that the base is clear of any infectious intel, but this smoke has to succeed or 4C&L are out of it. We'll look at buybacks now, as that's going to be very important. 4 buybacks for HellRaisers. Shachlo, probably going to be the one that gets engaged on first. EGM moving through. Oh, he breaks the smoke. Will it pop? Yeah, they have the gem. They just kill EGM outright. And this flank means nothing now, I would say. They might snipe a courier. They might farm some jungle, but they won't be in a position to defend their high ground here. Even with a surprise attack, like, who do you go on? Abaddon's still going to have his Aphotic Shield, his Glimmer Cape, and his Mistcoil to save that target. And that's probably game losing. The Tusk getting picked off on the front line here. HellRaisers just doing so much work. The Slardar, the Abaddon, all really just outperforming. And Gotham's Rubik doing a lot more than Rubik should this game, to be honest. Rubik should be hiding, running for his life. But Pycat is going to be man-moding, going in. The Glimmer Cape comes out on Ninja, and Nikwa barely gets out of the crush range, but it's GG. They just can't hold it. The game went too fast for 4C&L. The Slark did too little, and then the Rubik, the momentum generated from Rubik is just absurd. HellRaisers really able to close out this second game of the Best of 3 series with great effect, and just really a bloodthirsty, brawling lineup that performs so well in that 15 to 28 minute mark or beyond. Aghanim Scepter came out for its Live-O really early on, and of course Slark just couldn't get enough off the map. He only ended up having 157 last hits, despite having the highest CS on his team, only 480 GPM. And EGM, only 1 kill and 3 assists. I think he was the one that I would say 4C&L were disappointed in the most, was just Bounty Hunter didn't get enough done. He moved around the map, he tried to make those plays happen, but in the end, he's the one that got caught out by the Rubik. They lost the Sentry Ward War in mid. He didn't really create enough pressure on the Shadow Fiend, and he ended up feeding more gold than I think he acquired, especially when the track got stolen. So that's going to conclude Game 2 of the Best of 3 series. We're going to be going into Game 3 between HellRaisers and 4 Clovers and Leprechaun here in just a few minutes here on Dota Starladder EN. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed the commentary, look me up on Twitter at BlazeCasting. I'm Blaze, broadcasting on behalf of Beyond the Summit, and I'll see you guys in just a few minutes for Game number 3.